Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? How's everybody doing? I'm doing just fine. I'm doing awesome, actually. So today, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Build. We're going to be taking a look at this awesome blacksmith that I built. If you guys do enjoy the video for today, please do me a favor. Build up that subscribe button. Of course, get that number higher and higher. And also, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this build. Would really appreciate it. Love seeing your comments. Let's take a look at this build. All right, so big old blacksmith workshop. Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed. Big old tower. Lots of interesting shapes going on here. This build, whew, man, lots of good stuff going on here. Lots of cool stuff to check out. Lots of stuff to talk about. So let's get right into it. Starting with this tower, which was sort of like the last thing I did. I built the build, and I was like, it's missing something. It's missing that blonde skunk pizzazz, right? That little something really tall sticking up out of the build. And I felt like this needed it. Plus, it was nice because I was actually able to do something a little unique on this tower, which was give it this little sign with an anvil actually just swinging off of it, which is why it's called the Swinging Anvil Blacksmith Workshop. Kind of a mouthful, but it is what it is. Got the flag up there, of course. I just love having towers on builds. I really feel like it gives it that much more of just something to look at, some little eye catcher. So like when you're out off here, it's just beautiful, sticking out, sticking up. You can go over on this side, and you can see it's just a build that just catches your eye, right? I can just keep looking over that one. So it's really cool. And, you know, just having flags on builds in general looks really nice. So, yeah, the tower. One of the main features of this build, just really looking good. And I just love how that turned out. I wasn't really sure how it was going to work because I was like, well, I already have the whole build built. You know, having a tower just shoot up out of the middle might look a little weird, but I think it works. Another thing that's really unique is this roof right here, this face. And the reason why I did it this way is because I didn't want to just have a big, giant, A-shaped roof. It's just not really, it wasn't really going to work for me. It would have sort of looked like how the inn looks over here. Yeah, this is just a big, which is fine for this build, right? Because it's the whole build, but this is sort of like a side part, right? This is sort of the main build right here. This is the main piece, which is small. But this would have been huge. It would have been like this huge... Granted, it would have been more room on the inside, but not really what I was looking for. So I brought it down, made it sort of unique, and just kind of curved it instead towards the end, or flared it down, which I feel like it just kind of helps with this build and makes it that much more unique. And it didn't really need to be a big A-shaped roof, so which works really nice. I like it. I like how that turned out. It wasn't as challenging as the tavern roof because it was sort of straightforward in that sense. I talked about how I had trouble with this build and getting the shape of this one because I didn't want to overpower that build, and I wanted to have it this sort of be like a little curved, a little bit more welcoming, and because it is a tavern, so after all. So yeah, I felt like that was kind of what I was going for here too. I was like, you know, something a little bit more unique, something a little different, make the build just sort of in the same style, but just have it a little different, which works really nicely, I feel like. Lots of little details on the outside here. When you're building a build, especially like a shop or anything like that, little details like this, oars, carts, pots, just anything around this build to signify of what it is really helps it. And that's such a strong point to make. It is the same with the tavern, like the keg sticking out of the side there, the flags hanging off, the little sign right there with the potion looking like a beer bottle. I really feel like these little details help in the long run. So you got to make sure when you're building like a shop or you're building like anything, even if it's like your house that has a shop attached to it, just to signify what it is, very kind of important. That right there is another little detail, a very big detail. The swinging anvil, you can kind of signify what that is from miles away, right? You can go over here and be like, that's an anvil. right? That's an anvil just hanging off the side of a build. Kind of dangerous, but it is what it is. Nothing much else to talk about. We got a couple chimneys here. It's just sticking out of the build. These are pretty standard faces with just a lot of detail, you know, as we do. Very, very nice. And yeah, this is an actual just chimney that shoots up through the build. That's the fireplace inside. And then we actually have this big boy right here, which I want it to be really big, right? I didn't want it to overpower the tower, of course, but I wanted a nice big chimney for the forge, which I felt was fitting and kind of helps make it look like a blacksmith as well. It's that main feature that you're going to also be looking at when looking at a blacksmith. We come around the side here, go on into the forge itself, the forging area. You can see just lots of little details. We got the raw ore right here. My idea behind this was you bring in the really dense stuff and bring it on in, refine it a little bit, and stack up the raw ore on the inside, ready to be forged into the finest of weapons throughout the land. And yeah, I got some nice little armor trims here. I love this, by the way, with the 1.20 stuff. Very, very cool. Good job, Mojang, on that. That looks awesome. I love these specific combinations here. I feel like these look really cool with the red and the white. Kind of looks like a medic. You got like this blue and gold. That's probably my favorite. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, got the torch flower over there, one of my favorite new flowers, along with the big old pot. Love that. Just looking really cool sitting over there. And just, yeah, let's get on the inside because I love looking at interiors of builds. When builds can have interiors, it just makes it so much better. It tells the story and just makes it really pop even more. You can have a great exterior, but an interior just does something for me. Being able to go into that build and look around is so important. Something to remember. Very cool little detail that you might not have seen when we walked in is this little unique table stand here. So you put a trap door on top of a well, I should rather say put the trap door first and then the hanging sign. It kind of makes like a nice little table just in general. I think it looks really cool. Granted, you can't put anything on top of the table, but if you hang a lantern above it, it kind of substitutes for that. So very cool stuff. Paintings, new bookcase. Love how this looks. I like how you can customize the books in it. The fireplace, obviously. Little carpet. And we come on in here. We got the kitchen with the checker floor. And yeah, just lots of little storage and smokers and the pot itself. Love this little pot. And yeah, I think this really turned out pretty good. This should be a stair like that, so you don't get that hole. There we go. But yeah, very cool stuff. I love all the new stuff in this game. They added the pots, the bookshelves, the hanging signs. There's a lot of cool stuff. We're gonna have a video coming out of like all the different things you could do with like signs and different stuff. So a couple different things, I'd say, because there's a lot of different uses. Very cool little hallway here. You might not think of it at first, but instead of enclosing this in and just making a wall here, I made it like a little, you can like look over a little bit, right? Little banister. You could just look over and see who's coming on up the stairs. But really, it's for just to make it feel more open and less claustrophobic up in here. So very cool stuff. Got some little weapon storage over here. Paintings on the wall obviously help fill the whiteness of all this walls and everything. We go over here. We have an enchanting area. Now I didn't know if this made sense to have an enchanting area in the blacksmith. But hey, I think it's a fantasy blacksmith and I needed a room to fill, so I thought this looked pretty cool. So I made like a little library, a little scattered library, messy library, whatever you want to call it, with candles. Seems kind of dangerous, right? Fiery candles next to all this paper, but it looks cool, so we're going to go with it. We also have weapons just sort of scattered around. Very dangerous room if I think about it. Not very safe at all. You could just trip on this netherite sword over here with fiery paper all around you. Very good. But nevertheless, I think it looks really cool. And that little star up there just kind of helps it as well. Head on in the inside. We got just a regular old bedroom. Nothing too fancy here. Got the chest at the end of the bed. Love doing that. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, not too much to talk about in this room. Got the clock on the wall. All sorts of stuff like that. And yeah, love how this interior turned out. I think it looks really cool. I think it competes with the outside, helps that fill that. And you might be wondering, this build seemed a little taller. Well, it is a little taller. I didn't actually make any connections to the tower, but I feel like that's okay. It's more of just for, like, a light, kind of. It's a light tower of some sort. It's not really meant to go up into. It's just for aesthetics. And then you can also see that there is frog lights in this window as well. Now, I did this on purpose. And the reason why is because, sure, you could put rooms in here, you could do whatever, but if I don't have a purpose for a room, or I just don't feel like making an interior for this, a great idea is to just put some frog lights like this, and then put your glass, and then boom, there you go. You got like a little lighting effect on your windows there, and you don't have to do the interior if you don't need it. If you need the room, if you need a storage area up top, go for it. Make it, you know? That's one of those things. It's like you can always just save it for later and get back to it. So if you got all the room you need in the other rooms, you can always save that part for later. But I didn't really have an idea for that up there, so that's why I do that. So that's a little tip and trick for you. Little tips and tricks. You know, put some frog lights in front of your windows, makes it look like the window's lit up without actually having an interior. So, very cool stuff. I love it. So yeah, there you go. There is the Blacksmith Workshop. And I would like to thank you guys for joining me on this Behind the Build for today. Take a look at this Blacksmith Workshop. As I said, let me know down in the comments below what you think of it. Also, build up that subscribe button, make that number higher and higher, and making it more beautiful, as I like to say. So, yeah, that is going to do it for this Behind the Build. I do appreciate it. And as always, guys, don't forget to be awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.